Hello again. I am Monica Smith. I am the club historian, and I am also the associate director for the Smithsonian's Lemelson Center for the Study of Invention and Innovation. And so every now and again, I have to share some stories about hidden figures of invention and innovation. And since we are celebrating the end of Women's History Month, although we should celebrate women all year long, I wanted to give a brief talk based on this poster exhibition we have that is currently on display at the American History Museum. So as I said, starting April 4th, we will be open the regular 7 days a week again. So I hope you will come join us and check out this exhibition, which is in the major basement hallway that leads you to the all-important cafe in the basement. So with that, I'm going to quote primarily from a website that was authored by my colleague, Lemelson Center senior historian Joyce Beatty. And I'm going to show you some of the people that I'd like you to see if I can. There we go. So this is from a poster show that we have done with the Smithsonian Institution Traveling Exhibition Service. And I'm just going to tell a few brief stories today from some of the women here who I've circled for you. So let me start by quoting here. If you had to name an inventor, would it be a woman? Like their male counterparts, women inventors represent all segments of American society, but their stories are often overlooked and undervalued. Picturing women inventors highlights the distinct motivations, challenges, and accomplishments of exceptional 20th and 21st century inventive women who are diverse both professionally and personally. For today's meeting, I'll just share these few stories that I've circled here, but I hope that you'll have an opportunity at some point to visit our website, which I will provide for the newsletter. So at top there in the center, while visiting her grandmother in India, 12-year-old Kavita Shukla accidentally drank contaminated water. Her grandmother brewed a spiced tea for her so she wouldn't get sick. Back at home, Shukla wondered how the tea worked and started an experiment to find out. When she applied the spices to fruits and vegetables, they stayed fresh longer. She then embedded the spices in paper that could be placed with the produce and patented the idea during her senior year of high school. Shukla hopes that her all-natural product, fresh paper, will help end food spoilage and waste, especially in areas where refrigeration isn't available. And she actually lives here in Columbia, Maryland. Closer to the center there is Aya Badir, who grew up in Lebanon. I've also had a chance to interview her. As a child, she often took apart and reassembled her family's electronic equipment so she could understand how it worked. After earning an engineering degree in Beirut, Badir moved to the United States for graduate study at the MIT Media Lab. She began an experiment to make engineering and inventing more fun. Her prototypes became Little Bits, a system of color-coded magnetic electronic building blocks. Badir says her Little Bits blur the boundary between a toy and a toolkit, so makers of all ages can explore the connections between art and engineering through invention. Next is Stephanie Kwolek, who I also had the opportunity to meet. She is now sadly deceased, but when she joined DuPont in 1946, she remarked that women who got jobs in the lab would only stay a few years. They were not promoted as rapidly as men, but there were some of us who decided to stick it out, and I was one. Assigned to research extra strong and stable polymers in 1964, Kwolek turned to solutions in which all the molecules line up in one direction, like string of pearls, as she often described it. Her experiments resulted in the invention of Kevlar, which I hope you've heard of. It's an incredibly strong, stiff, and lightweight synthetic fiber that has broad applications from bullet-resistant vests and military helmets to fencing gloves. Next, we have Patricia Bath, who is just being inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame this year. And now, enabling the blind to see was the greatest joy of Dr. Patricia Bath, who passed away in 2019. She's an eye surgeon, professor of ophthalmology, inventor of the laser phaco probe for the treatment of cataracts, and founder of the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness. It was in 1981 that she first conceived of an invention that would use a laser to remove cataracts, cloudiness that forms in the lens of the eye, causing blurry or distorted vision or even blindness. Doctors have treated cataracts with traditional surgery or more recently ultrasound to remove the clouded lens. An artificial lens can be inserted, but Bath envisioned a way to make the surgery faster, easier, more accurate, and less invasive with a much smaller incision by using lasers. For those of you who had this kind of surgery, you can be very thankful to her. And last but not least, we have Marilyn Hamilton. After a hang gliding accident left her paralyzed, she was determined to continue her active lifestyle. Her heavy wheelchair hampered that ambition. Drawing inspiration from the materials used in hang gliders, ironically, she worked with two friends to create a lightweight and highly maneuverable wheelchair. She started the Quickie Wheelchair Company in 1979 and went on to become a two-time US Open women's wheelchair tennis champion. So as I mentioned, I've had the opportunity to meet actually most of these amazing women, including just interviewing Kavita Shukla a few weeks ago as part of Women's History Month programming at the museum. I hope this talk inspires you to learn and read more about hidden figures of invention and innovation of all backgrounds. So thank you for giving me this time, President Bill, to share a little bit of what I do at work, and I hope you found it interesting. Thanks so much.